watching Color 10 News at 10 in high definition.
Big boom, and then there was smoke coming up from a building in front of me, and just seconds later another one happened.
It's kind of chaos. Everybody's afraid to go anywhere.
Tonight, runners from around the Ozarks sharing their experiences with us about the Boston Marathon, the site of a terrorist attack today. Hello, once again, everybody. I'm David Oliver.
And I'm Ashley Ketz. Thanks for joining us tonight. Here is the newest information we have right now. 2 bombs exploded near the crowded finish line, killing 3 people and injuring more than 125 others. Police found another explosive device and detonated it. A CBS News senior correspondent reports that a man from Saudi Arabia is being questioned by authorities. He was seen acting suspiciously, running from the explosion, and a civilian chased him down and tackled him. He was turned over to Boston police and is being questioned by the FBI. He is being cooperative and denies any involvement. There is no word on the motive or who may have launched this attack, and no one has claimed responsibility. Here in Greene County, Missouri, the Office of Emergency Management is in a heightened mode at this point, and President Obama says federal agencies are too.
We still do not know who did this or why, and people shouldn't jump to conclusions before we have all the facts. But make no mistake, we will get to the bottom of this, and we will find out who did this. We'll find out why they did this.
And our team coverage continues now at 10 o'clock. Aaron Nolan with our news team spoke with a Nixa woman today who finished the race minutes before the explosion. Miranda Cameron's first concern was for those that were in Boston with her.
I had just finished like 8 minutes before the explosion. There was smoke coming up from a building in front of me, and just seconds later another one happened, and some people were just like walking like everything was normal, and there were several of us just standing around like, what the heck was that? You know, it was like a forceful boom. We could feel it. I got a hold of my fiance to tell him to check on him because it looked like that was where he had been standing just minutes before with my sister, and I was freaking out. And the phones already weren't working on the phones, and then the sirens started going off, and there were like golf carts with medics and police on them going through because the roads were closed, so they couldn't get through. And
did you finally get in touch with your loved ones?
yes.
And they're okay?
Yes, everyone and all my friends that I met here to run the marathon, they're all okay, thank God. All this weekend I was telling friends, like, since this is my first Boston, I don't care about my time, you know, I'll just, I'll run it again next year. I'll requalify and get a second chance, but now I don't know that I really want to come back.
And another competitor from the Ozarks is Branson's Richard White. Color 10's Laura Kennedy spoke with him on the phone this afternoon. Laura.
Richard White has run the Boston Marathon every year for the last 5 years, and the end of this year's event was very different than before. He and his family missed the explosions at the finish line by about 10 minutes.
Well, I had finished the marathon and met with my family, and we had gotten on the subway and started back to the hotel and didn't hear it or see anything until we got back to the hotel, and then it was just all over the news, and we were like, wait, we were just down there.
What would you say, 10, 15 minutes you missed it by?
Probably, or less. It's kind of chaos. Everybody's afraid to go anywhere. I'm hearing reports of runners going to the medical centers and donating blood, and I wanted to do that, but the governor came on and said, stay in your hotel rooms. You know, they don't want people congregating in large crowds. They think there might still be unexploded devices in the city. They shut off the cell phone service downtown because they think somebody might set off one of these devices just, you know, accidentally making a call. So it's pretty chaotic right now.
Is this going to change your mind about running any future marathons?
No, I'll come back to Boston. You know, I come every year, but it's sure going to be a different deal next year. I'm sure the security will be extremely heightened.
White and his family are feeling lucky tonight. His wife and daughter usually stand at the finish line, but didn't stand in their usual spot this year. That spot was right where one of the bombs went off.
Wow, Laura, thanks. And we have more team coverage with every runner from the Ozarks. There are friends and family at home. Color 10's Kevin Schwaller spent today with some of those people here in Springfield as they were waiting to get word that their friends are now safe. Kevin.
The owner of Ridge Runner Sports spent time on the phone and online trying to track down the status of the runners she knew. It took hours, and before the close of the day, she got a message she had been waiting for. It looks like a typical day at Ridge Runner Sports. Owner Mary Goss Croson was preparing for this weekend's races.
At first, we were getting upbeat, happy texts from a friend of ours who ran in the Boston Marathon.
Then a missed call and a voicemail from her running partner, Eric Wilbur.
He had left a message that said he just finished the Boston Marathon and heard explosions.
The store became a place where friends waited to hear from others in Boston.
You can look at there and see who we haven't heard from.
We're counting between 10 and 15 people that work here in the shop, know people.
I'm just in shock.
And president of the Ozark Mountain Ridge Runners Club, Chris Revore, was checking in on 6 people competing in the marathon.
I've heard from all of them, and they're all okay. I was looking at the time and thinking, that's about the time some of them qualified.
And the time is something friends watch closely. The projected time of their companions' finish, the time of the explosions, and the seconds waiting to hear news.
We feel that most of the people locally that we know have finished and are okay.
Hours after the initial voicemail, Wilbur sent a text, solidifying the fact that he was okay, and also the reality of what happened, saying he was saddened and shaken. Revore says he'll feel relatively safe in future races. He believes this act will make race directors take more precautions.
Kevin Schwaller tonight. Thanks, Kevin. Many runners from the Ozarks took part in today's Boston Marathon. According to the marathon's website entry list, 9 were from Springfield, 1 from Ozark, 1 from Nixa, 1 from Branson, 1 from West Plains, and 1 from Battlefield. Be sure to stay with Color 10 News for continuing coverage of the Boston Marathon explosions, both here on air and on our website, ozarksfirst.com.
In the meantime, stormy weather threatens the Ozarks tonight. We're going to check in now with Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
Hi guys, yeah, and there is one severe thunderstorm that we have to track right now, and that has been near the Hermitage area. It's now northeast of Hermitage. Move across Cross Timbers. Basically, northeastern Hickory County and southeastern Benton County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 10:30, and that storm right there tracking northeast at about 45 miles per hour likely contains quarter-size hail with it, and it could impact areas like Cross Timbers and Climax Springs maybe over the next half hour with some of that hail. That is not the only storm that likely has a little bit of hail with it. There are more. Here's a strong one right here that's now made its way into southeastern parts of St. Clair County. That one too moving northeast likely has some small hail, and some of the other storms also probably have a little bit of small hail. Basically areas from Pittsburgh northeast to Lake Ozark. Along that axis is where it's going to remain rather stormy overnight tonight as we find showers and thunderstorms sort of training across the same area, and some of those storms could produce possibly some large hail. Looks like by morning that activity will be shifting out of the area. The threat of a shower maybe early on. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies, I think, for much of the day on Tuesday. And if the front can wobble north of Springfield, we'll be back in the 70s for highs. This isn't the only round of severe weather that we could see here in the Ozarks. A probably bigger threat of severe weather coming our way for Wednesday night into Thursday. More on that coming up.
Jamie, thanks. Tonight, new at 10. Opponents of a proposed Walmart neighborhood market downtown have collected more than enough signatures on petitions to try to block the project. The Springfield City Clerk's office now confirms more than 1,800 signatures are valid. Opponents, of course, worry the store there at the corner of Grand and Campbell will cause traffic problems and hurt other businesses. The City Council must either change the zoning or put this to a public vote if there's an election that could happen as early as August.
Also new at 10, starting in July, Evangel University will have a new president. Dr. Carol Taylor is currently president of Vanguard University in Costa Mesa, California. Taylor's a graduate of Evangel's Theological Seminary. She'll be replacing Dr. Robert Spence, who has served as president of Evangel for 40 years. Also new at 10, meet Springfield's Teacher of the Year. Raylene Graves of Campbell Elementary received that honor tonight at the 20th annual Teacher Appreciation Banquet. Last year's recipient, Alberta Smith, passed on the honor to Graves, who's been a first grade teacher at the school for 23 years. Graves will go on to compete for Missouri Missouri Teacher of the Year. Shannon Miller and I were honored to MC the event.
A lot of great teachers all around town, that's for sure. And a new season of baseball at the Miracle League Field is underway. Of course, that gives everybody a chance to play ball. The Miracle Field there at Dan Kenney Park features a special playing surface that allows people in wheelchairs and those using walkers a chance to round the bases. That special playing surface is cushioned synthetic turf. The first Youth League game was tonight, and Adult League games begin on Thursday. Well, you know, there are many reasons why drivers crash in work zones.
And here are a couple.
You see people, putting makeup on. You see people eating.
Next, the #1 reason and how often these types of accidents occur.
We invite you to follow Color 10 News through our Facebook page. Find the icon there on ozarksfirst.com. Then just like our Facebook page.
New at 10, you'll be seeing more orange cones and detours on Missouri roads here in the coming months.
Yeah, the summer, of course, the busiest time of the year for the Missouri Department of Transportation. And today, MoDOT and the Highway Patrol held a news conference to kind of kick off the Work Zone Awareness Week. The location was significant because it's near the diverging Diamond Interchange there at Kansas Expressway and James River Freeway. According to MoDOT, anytime there is an accident in a work zone, it usually can be blamed on inattention caused by cell phones. It's asking drivers to hang up the phones and just slow down.
You see people, putting makeup on. You see people eating while they're going through these things, answering phones, and thinking that it's okay, and it's not okay. I've seen vehicles hit the cones themselves, and that could have easily been a person that they could have hit.
Last year, 8 people died and hundreds were hurt in work zones all across Missouri.
Also new tonight, gas prices are down more than 7 cents in the past week. According to MissouriGasPrices.com, the statewide average is $3.35. In Springfield, the average is closer to $3.27, and the national average is $3.52. And now we turn to Jamie again for another check of tonight's storm potential. Jamie?
Yeah, still tracking that severe thunderstorm right now northeast of Hermitage across Hickory County to be moving into southeastern Benton County shortly. Likely some quarter-sized hail with that, and that'll be the threat tonight. Basically from Pittsburgh to Lake Ozark. The threat for hailers overnight tonight, but there's more severe weather possible later in the week. More on that coming up.
a matter of seconds, and they stepped in to try and comfort those that were wounded. Obviously, the ones that were traumatically wounded, you had emergency personnel getting to them, but just the people on the periphery who were dazed or maybe knocked off their feet or they had a little bit of glass, they just rushed over not knowing. They put their arm around them and they dragged them over to the triage center to make sure that they were okay.
And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
Welcome back. Well, the latest development is just recently issued a severe thunderstorm watch for most areas along and north of I-44, that through 5 o'clock in the morning. And here's the reason why. Thunderstorms which could produce hail. And we've got one right now located very close to Cross Timbers. This is the storm that was located near Hermitage really about 5 to 10 minutes or so ago. It's moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. It's in northeastern Hickory County, about to move into southeastern Benton County. And again, you can kind of see where that hail core is right about in there. And it looks like maybe producing quarter-size hail. That warning in effect again through 10:30 this evening. And here's our hail tracker, basically a forecast of where radar thinks the hail is going to fall over the next half hour. And it encompasses much of northeastern Hickory County into southeastern sections of Benton County over the next half hour. And you can see some other forecasted hail streaks back in here, but that's because there's additional thunderstorm activity which has potential of producing some hail as these storms continue to intensify. Here's one right now in southeastern St. Clair County, about to move into northwestern Hickory County. That one could contain some small hail, and another one near Sheldon also likely contains some small hail as it tracks toward the northeast. It appears that the storm zone tonight is going to primarily be along an axis from Pittsburgh, Kansas through Lake Ozark. It looks like in that zone is where most of the thunderstorm activity is going to occur, and we'll likely find areas getting hit repeatedly by thunderstorms overnight tonight, which could produce hail at times, and will likely also produce some locally heavy rain. So even the risk of training storms and maybe some localized areas of flooding. Obviously, the air near the surface is cool, it's stable. These thunderstorms are elevated. They're basically developing above that stable layer, and that's why I think the severe weather risk with these storms will be in the form of hail and not other things. Now, as you head further south, you get into south central Missouri and northern areas of Arkansas. It's in the 60s, feels very humid. This is an area that saw highs stay in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. That front located right about in here, and it actually wobbled back and forth across Springfield today. We saw a big drop in the temperature from 6 to 7 o'clock, from 77 to 64, as a result of that front shifting back to the southeast across town. So here's our front. What else is going on in the atmosphere? Well, we've got a little jet streak passing by. It's generating a little bit of lift in this area. And we've also got winds about a mile off the surface coming in, and that low-level jet helping to focus energy, helping to drive these showers and thunderstorms that we're finding now north of I-44. So this is going to be the zone where we're going to have thunderstorms overnight tonight. I think areas south of that front are capped, so I don't really think we're going to see any thunderstorm activity unless we can get a complex of storms going here that might drive an outflow boundary further south into south central areas of Missouri. That's the one possibility. So that's wave number one of severe weather. The next round will likely come through, it looks like heading into Wednesday night through Thursday. It looks like through midnight Wednesday night. It'll be west of this dash line, and then areas east of that dash line could see severe weather from midnight through Thursday itself. And this is probably going to be a bigger outbreak of severe weather than what we're finding tonight. As we take you hour by hour from 10 o'clock, again, notice where the the storms are through midnight tonight. Notice where they are after midnight. So again, that's why we are focusing our attention right here for maybe severe weather and maybe also some locally heavy rains. That rain should be tapering off as we head through the morning hours on Tuesday and then shifting out of the area. And that front will try to wobble back to the north. And depending on how far north it gets, here in Springfield, it could be another very warm afternoon like it was today. As far as rainfall totals will likely be maybe as much as an inch in areas, again, along that axis from Pittsburgh, Kansas, up towards Lake Ozark, while areas south of I-44 will likely see next to nothing. Overnight tonight, a low in the low 50s here in Springfield, upper 40s further north, and looks like low 60s further south. For tomorrow here in Springfield, right on that line, looks like we'll make it into the 70s, and if that front wobbles north of Springfield, could see highs in the upper 70s yet again. Areas further south have a better shot at that, while areas further north will be cool. Looks like about 62 in Lake Ozark. Warm again on Wednesday with a high of 78. That storm risk Wednesday night through Thursday. Heavy rains likely as well, and then turning much colder. Looks like morning freezes possible again behind the storm for Friday morning and Saturday morning, and then the weekend looking a bit milder. Temperatures in the 60s for highs. That's not going to be too
49?
bad. Really? Yeah, 49 for a high on Friday. And, you know, this is really, I kind of said this last night when I was talking about this, it's almost like a bit of weather deja vu. We did this last week, the same scenario that's unfolding right now, very similar to what we found last week.
And we're doing it again.
Yep.
Hopefully not next week, though.
No, hopefully not.
Thanks, Jamie.
1-2 is hit down the right field line. Fair. To the wall it goes.
St. Louis trying to grab a win on the road.
See the strange way one fan there grabbed a souvenir at the ball game. You'll see that. Nick's in next with sports.
Now, the Chevy Dealer Sports Report with Nick Carboni.
Well, it's still early, but the Springfield Cards are last in the Texas League in batting average and earned run average, which is not a good combination. Cards busted out the bats yesterday, however, and scored 9, but San Antonio scored 15. They're back at it again at Hammonds tonight. And how about Neil Pritchard robbing Tommy Medica in the first inning, getting pitcher Richard Castillo out of a jam. Then, bottom half, Ruben Gotay singles to right. Jake Lemmerman scores. He was aboard with an error. 1-0 Cardinals, same inning. More bad defense for the Missions. Tommy Pham, who later hit a homer. That one's routine to short, but they boot it. Gotay scores. It's 2-0. Then in the second, Richard Castillo gets Don Roach. He had a good game. In the third, Raymond Fuentes, Texas Leaguer Pham. Kid can do it all. Nice sliding catch, and Fuentes, no more luck here. Strikes out looking on a pitch from Castillo. Then he's ejected. Castillo 6 Ks over 6 scoreless, and the Cards win 9-1. The Big Birds at Pittsburgh tonight. Pirates just swept the Reds. It's Jackie Robinson Day in baseball. Everybody wearing number 42. In the second, 1-all, John Jay just tees off on James McDonald. Out to the right field fence, 2 runs score, and the Cardinals are up 3-1. They're not done. Been scoring in bunches lately. 4-1 here for Alan Craig. Goes to the deepest part of the ballpark you can without going out of it. Off the mesh fence in front of the bullpen, 2 more score. It's 6-1. He drove in 3. Carlos Beltran joining the party. This is all in the second inning, all off of James McDonald. Craig scores at 7-1. And then here's Yachty. Drops one into right center field. Beltran, there are 2 outs. He's going to score from first. It's 8-1. And guess what? The Cards left 17 on base, still managed 10 runs. But how about this? Beltran giving a foul ball chase. You're going to need a bigger glove. We're going to get one of those. Maybe it's just a small man. I don't know. Cards win 10-6. The Cardinals' friendly neighbors to the north are certainly having a rebuilding year as far as their roster goes, and now the Cubs will give Wrigley Field a facelift as well. The Cubs and the city of Chicago have agreed on a $500 million renovation plan for the park, which includes a 6,000 square foot video screen in center field and a 1,000 square foot sign in left, both in an effort to create more advertising revenue. At 99 years old, Wrigley Field is the second oldest stadium in Major League Baseball.
This plan will help us close the gap with newer, more economically efficient ballparks and preserve Wrigley Field for the next generation of fans. Our primary goal is to win the World Series. The financial impact of this proposal will help us do that.
We had a great finish to the Masters yesterday here on Color 10. For the second year in a row, there was a playoff at Augusta, resulting in the 17th different champion in the last 18 majors. And this time it's Australian Adam Scott, who beat 2009 winner Angel Cabrera in a playoff that went 2 holes, Scott birdieing 10 for the win. The 32-year-old had never won a major in his previous 47 tries, despite a late lead in last year's Open Championship. Not only is it Scott's first major, he's also the first Aussie to win the green jacket.
I just find it amazing that it's my destiny that I win the Masters and become the first Australian to win the Masters. I'm humbled, honoured, just so happy that it all came together this week.
Tiger Woods finished tied for 4th at Augusta, 4 strokes from the top. Tiger hasn't won a major since the 2008 U.S. Open, but came into the Masters with 3 tour wins under his belt already this year. And even after his famous 2-stroke penalty this weekend, he still had a shot yesterday.
I certainly had a chance. You know, if I would have posted a number today, I was right there. I was 4 back starting out the day, and thought I really played well this week. We lose more tournaments than we win out here on tour, so it's just part of the process, and I'll get back to it.
And he's got 3 more chances to win a major this season.
Still pretty young, too. All right. Thanks, Nick.
And we'll be right back.
here are tonight's winning lottery numbers.
Don't forget, we have a lot of coverage on our website as far as the Boston explosion goes today. A lot still unfolding with that story. Much more at ozarksfirst.com.
And Jamie, you are watching some storms that are really moving through the area just right now.
Yeah, north of I-44 overnight tonight. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect through 5 o'clock in the morning. And I think the main axis is going to be from Pittsburgh, Kansas to Lake Ozark. Watch for hail out of those storms and maybe even some localized areas of flooding due to storms sort of training over the same areas. These storms should fade away by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, for the most part, kind of like today, warm and humid in areas south of that front. We'll see the same on Wednesday, and then Wednesday night through Thursday, another round of heavy rain and potentially severe weather.
And then colder.
And then a lot colder, yeah.
And we got some baseball tomorrow, right?
Yeah, 11 a.m. at Hammonds Field. Springfield Cardinals playing a little early baseball.
Look forward to it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Nick.
And thank you for joining us tonight and making us your choice for news, weather, and sports. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night, folks.